get started.
Awesome.
This is going to be a podcast about marketing, probably specific. We're going to talk about some social media marketing, tips, tricks, best practices, that kind of thing. So I've got Luke Fleck here from SPAR. He's the digital engagement director. I think I said that right.
Who knows at this point? I always forget it myself.
Right. And then I got Dan Sherman from Stainless Photography.
Yeah, stainless
All right.
real estate photography.
Thank you. And you pretty much specialize in photos for real estate, but also marketing.
Yeah. Mostly, I would say content that agents can use to market themselves, right? Photos, videos, 3D tours, themselves and their properties.
Awesome. So that's going to kind of segue into, let's talk about it, right? So realtors are either one extreme or the other, extremely lost or extremely good at it, right? There's some middle ground that I've seen, but for the most part, the people I meet are either lost or they know what they're doing. So let's try and hit the people in the middle, right? Let's kind of get them where they want to go. So first question I'm going to ask you is, if you could tell them to do one thing, one best practice advice piece for getting your home prepared for listing, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say, as much time as you have to devote, use it towards cleaning, right? It's a big deal. Let's say that person doesn't have as much time and they really want to get their house on and they only have a few days or something like that, maybe 10 hours or something that they can devote. And you have to start prioritizing what to clean.
Yes.
I would say anything that's glossy is a big deal.
Okay.
So certain countertops, certain floors, cabinets. If you have any like gloss paint on walls or semi-gloss paint, it's not very common anymore, but sometimes you just have somebody like went to Home Depot and said, I'm gonna do an accent wall, right? It's really glossy, but the problem becomes like light when you get a glare and there's like fingerprints and stuff, it reflects a lot. When it reflects, I guess you're able to see that fingerprint,
Sure.
right? Or maybe it's a chip or maybe whatever it might be, right? So yeah, glossy stuff, prioritize that.
What about stainless steel appliances? Is that a problem? Because I feel like that would be one I wouldn't think of cleaning.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great, yeah, absolutely. Right up there, because of the same thing, right? It reflects light.
Yeah.
So it just kind of looks dirtier when it is dirty, right? Where if you have something that's like a matte finish, it's just, unless it's like a light color and you have like something that's a contrasting color on it, it's not as noticeable as something like that. So yeah, the stainless steel, they make wipes for that, like specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Life changer.
I need that for my house because I have water spots like dripping down from where my water
On your fridge.
dispenser, whatever you call that is. Yeah, it's really annoying. It looks really bad.
So your fridge looks dirty all the time.
Yeah, that's the only reason I thought about that because I'm dealing with that in my house. Well, good to know they have wipes for that.
It's great. It's next level. I just found them like maybe 6 months ago.
Oh, do you like carry that stuff with you? Do you carry cleaning supplies then when you go to a shoot just to be like, that is going to be very obnoxious. You just clean it right away.
So we used to more. So we'll still have like something very basic, like a wipe or something like that. If it's something that's going to be crazy, what we've kind of transitioned towards is advising the sellers and the agents to have it clean. Just because, it started to become an issue where we would show up and nothing's clean.
So they expect you to clean their house along with shooting their photos.
Right. So it's kind of like an expectation setting thing,
Yeah.
right? Where when we first started, it was just kind of, we'll do it, because it was, we weren't as busy and we could kind of stretch that appointment slot and we wouldn't run into anything. Where now we're kind of like, we have 45 minutes on site and we got to get to the next one or we're going to be late kind of deal.
So what I'm hearing is you have to start a cleaning company called Stainless Steel Cleaning that you say, hey, well, we can clean your house for you and then take your photos.
There we go.
So you're making twice the money off of one client.
Didn't know we'd be talking about new business.
Sorry. I just
We're scheming today,
We're just coming up with all kinds of ideas. What about you, Luke? So best advice if you're going to start with marketing, digital marketing, let's say, because that's your expertise.
digital
What do you
marketing.
go to?
have a plan in place. Like, think through what you're actually going to do. Like, what is your actual desired outcome? Why are you using it? I always like to think of it in terms of the sales funnel, right? Whenever you're building a plan out, like, think about the process of how it's going to impact your business, right? Because the goal is obviously we want people to convert, right? Yeah. As realtors, you want people to contact you to buy or sell a home. Well, how do you get to that process? It's through the different levels of marketing. So that could be blog posts and them going through a funnel. That could be social media posts. That could be advertisements. That could literally just be having your website. But coming up with a plan and knowing how and you want them to walk through a funnel is going to make your life so much easier. And even that goes beyond digital. It's the same thing with mailers, right? Why do you get the mailers? Because that's at the top of the funnel. You're just qualifying to see who would be interested. And always think about the 10-to-1 or 10-5-1 principle. 10 people will see it, right, and contact you. 5 of them will want more, like, actually talk to you about it and go further and like want more info. And then 1 person is actually going to convert. Right. So I think it's the 10-5-1, or if it's something like that, but it's for every 10 people that you contact, or 5 of them are going to say, yes, I'll meet with you. 1 person is going to convert. It's the same thing when you're doing digital marketing, right? So if you have 200 people that see the ad, or say you have 10 people who see the ad, 5 might fill out the form, and then 1 person might actually convert. Sure. So it's all about thinking how you want them to go through a funnel. So plan it out. Don't just like, oh, I'm just going to do everything, you know, and don't overthink it either, because it's really easy to get stuck into a mindset of planning where you don't execute. Like, just figure out a plan, figure out a process, do it fast, and then adjust as you go.
Sure. So it kind of sounds like a lot of time, not going to lie.
It can be, but I'm also, I am coming at it from a perspective of that's what I do as a job, right? Like, I get paid to think through that process. Right. So if you don't have the time for that, just sketch it out real quick. Go online, find, a sales funnel, right? Like a sales funnel graphic, print it out, do it digitally, whatever, and write, okay, this is my Facebook post. This is where they're going to next. I want them to call me, right? Yep. And then they go into, then you know how to handle it from there. And then from there, I can convert them. Or it's I want them to go to my website and fill out a form. Whatever that process is for you, it's pretty quick to do it in 15 minutes to sit down and say, hey, this is how I want this to convert, right? Sure. So, it can be a lot of time if you want to get really technical and analytical about it. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be. As long as you think through where they're going, you can then explain why people aren't converting.
Well, and then kind of to go off of that too, is like, so like what you said, we have a goal, right? Whenever we're marketing, and like for real estate agents, like you said, that's to have somebody contact you to buy or sell a home, right? Yeah. So if you don't do that planning and you're just willy-nilly throwing marketing out there without that goal in mind, you're really wasting your time in total, the whole time you spent creating any type of marketing, right? Sure. So that planning stage is probably the most important part, right? Because if you don't nail down what you want out of this marketing, because you have to get an ROI on these time, resources, everything that you're putting into this. And I think we're going to kind of end up going back to that a lot. Is it's going to be like how can we spend that time efficiently, right? Right. Because if you can do something in half as much time, technically you get double the ROI, right? So it's such a big deal.
So as part of your planning, deciding who your audience is, I would suspect.
Oh,
that's pretty important.
Definitely.
I mean, to your point, Dan, if I create a bunch of social posts for, whether it's a home or financial advice or, tips on the market or anything like that, if I have no idea who my audience is, I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Right.
And who knows who's seeing it?
Well, and like, I hope I don't hurt any feelings with this, but this is a pro tip. One thing that I see once in a while, not very often, is an agent who is, let's say they post a video, it's a funny video, but it's complaining about a certain group of clients that they have, right?
Oh.
Maybe it's, it's like when my client wants to put in an offer at list price when it's already in multiples, and they're like sitting there like rolling their eyes or whatever, right? It's made to be funny. Yep. But really, like not only like that's a great example of not having a plan, right?
Yeah.
Because you're marketing, and it's not even really marketing, but that audience is other real estate agents or other people in the industry
Yeah.
who are never going to be your clients, right? Another real estate agent is going to hire you to sell their home. They're going to sell their own home, right?
Right.
Where it might be something to build relationships or build some type of rapport. Maybe there's some benefit, but really I would almost say it has a detrimental impact to the people who, like if I'm a client, I'm thinking, oh, this person doesn't have patience for me. If
Right.
I don't, if I'm
Right.
not familiar with the process or that kind of thing. So I wanted to throw that in there as
that's a great one.
an example of not having a plan.
That example is only really funny to other real estate professionals
Yeah.
because
that's
they
true.
understand the pain,
Yeah.
right? But so true. Who's really looking at it unless you're only going to actually, pull it up on your phone and you doodled it and you show someone directly.
Yeah, right.
But if it's out there on social, anybody is a potential client. So
And they're eventually going to find that too.
They
Because like
certainly
that
will.
stuff tends to blow up.
Yeah.
Because negative stuff always blows up. Because I saw something similar to that where someone was talking about how like, well, they had a client who was like, well, my house says it's worth this much on Zillow. And they did like a funny TikTok on it. And it was obviously pretty negative of like, I'm the expert. I have actual tools. But instead of doing something that was more educational about it, they took it in a direction that was like, sellers don't understand anything. And that's what blew up. And I guarantee you most of the comments were real estate agents.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I only got it because I work in real estate.
Right.
So
So definitely be careful and think that through before you hit post.
Yeah, and understand, it's you're a business, and that your audience is somebody who wants to buy and sell a home, right?
Yeah. Excellent tip. That is probably gold right there.
I try to be careful. You say that to the wrong person, they're like, "Oh, I did that last week."
I better go delete that right now.
Yes, you should.
Oh, goodness.
Go do it.
Okay, so Dan, I know you do the home photography, videography. What marketing do you help agents with?
Yeah, so we primarily do the homes, right? So we've in the past we've done some lifestyle photo shoots, that kind of thing. That's more stereotypically isn't the right word, but generally used as a tool for agents to market themselves, right?
Sure.
One thing, being where I'm at is I like to kind of try to like break the norm and convince agents that getting good photography of their homes is a good way to market themselves as well, right? So not only if you get high quality photography or maybe your marketing package to a potential listing or somebody who wants to sell their home with you is a better package than the other guy or the other girl, that's a benefit in the eyes of the homeowner, right?
Yeah.
And when you have good marketing materials, right? It's just it's an easy way for that agent to sell themselves down the road, right? So it's kind of it's one of those things where people think that home photography is only to sell that home and then it's done with. Or what I like to say is you can continue to repurpose and reuse that content to market yourself, right? Whether that's in your newsletters, whether that's on your mailers, whether that's social media, your website, just let it rip, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like people are like, oh well, what about the licensing, that kind of thing, and really whoever your photography partner is, like they would be honored. Usually, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but they would be honored to let you use that stuff you paid for to continue to get more business for yourself.
And then them.
Exactly. Because I'm your photography
Yep,
partner, right?
exactly.
So I think it's super important. I think it's I would say 80-20, right? 20% to sell the house and 80% to sell yourself to the
interesting.
next listing.
Interesting. I never thought of it like that. So that's a good frame of reference. So definitely have the conversation with your photographer then, if that might be something of interest to you.
Yeah, and I would say, definitely before you start doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of photographers have different terms of uses and licensing and that kind of thing. But I don't want to say, hey, just start doing this without asking them about it.
Yeah.
We've always been pretty cool with it because it's we're kind of invested in our clients' businesses.
Sure.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. That's an interesting way to use something that, I would have only really thought about, okay, yep, that's for the listing and that's over. So that's awesome. What about, do you do any print type marketing things with them, or do you only provide the digital?
So yeah, we provide it digitally,
Okay.
and then we kind of get,
Yep,
they can
that's on
kind of
their
do
side.
their
Yep,
thing.
okay.
We do some print marketing, for my business.
Yeah.
I don't know how applicable that would be, but it is kind of a, in the agenda we had talked about digital versus print.
Yeah, what are pros and cons to those?
Yeah. So one thing I want to say on that is digital marketing. Maybe you can speak a little bit more accurately to this, Luke. But like with digital marketing in real estate is very hard to do, right? Because like all these, Facebook, Instagram, all them, like practically when it's real estate, if you have real estate anywhere in your post, you can't target at all, right? Because it's like fair housing
violations. Yep.
tons of stuff. And like even we have trouble marketing our stuff to real estate agents and targeting real estate agents sometimes because we get
Because of the
flagged.
words.
Exactly, yeah.
So social media, like Luke has experienced this.
God.
Facebook will post it and then take it down because potential fair housing flags. So I could see where print marketing may be a little more beneficial in that way that, you're not going to have like a Facebook, generalized statement, just flag your post or flag your advertising. But in the same respect, just as they do on social, they'd still have to be very aware and diligent of not violating any fair housing.
Exactly.
With where they're targeting and who they're targeting, they still have to be all inclusive. What do you think, Luke? Pros, cons?
Well, I like digital better just because the cost is way lower. I mean, and yeah, the targeting does go away, and that is a really negative factor. Like Facebook makes you pick and select that it is a housing related thing.
Right.
And an example of that is because us at SPAR, we run ads every once in a while to our members, and there was one that we were going to do for fair housing that was very much not political at all, very much just celebrate fair housing and do a coloring contest, right? And I had gotten plenty of ads, approved before and never had an issue. And this one it flagged because they deemed it as being something that was political. And it wasn't something that was political in my eyes. Now that's their platform and that's their decision, and they can kind of make that. And going back and forth on the phone conversation with no details that he couldn't give me. So that's the not joy. But when it comes to digital, it's nice because you can track it, and it's easy to know like where your money is going, whereas print, you're just kind of throwing it out there unless you be more targeted about it, right? So, and being more personalized. I know this is something that you and I, Kristen, have talked about is like, as realtors, you need to be personalized. Like work with a print company that's going to be able to personalize it to that mailing address, to things that are specific to them. Use the tools that are available and out there for that, and you're going to be more successful. And then along with print marketing is send cards to people who you've worked with in the past when it's their birthday or, they are celebrating, X amount of years in their home. There's online programs that you can sign up for where you can dump your contact information in there in your all your CRM info, and it'll automatically send them congratulations once they reach milestones in their home, and that keeps them thinking about you. So that's more of the follow-up. But I think the pros for digital marketing, especially social media marketing, is one, it's either free or costs a lot less than print marketing, and you can be very targeted. The downside is definitely it's harder to reach specific groups of people because your targeting is restricted. And Facebook is actually restricted specific targeting to pretty much everyone now. I think you can't do gender anymore. You can't do, I think, religion anymore. There's specific things that are completely gone that used to be there because they came under big heat.
I mean, in all fairness,
it's necessary. Yeah.
In what we do and what realtors do, you wouldn't really be targeting those particular groups.
Yeah,
because you're working under sort of the oath of not. So not targeting any specific group. It's for everyone.
Well, what's great is it's free to post.
Yeah.
Like you can post without doing it an ad. And if you get really good at knowing what your target audience wants, they'll find it eventually. they just will. I mean, I've had reels that like end up popping off and there was like, 5,000 people who saw it and I was still getting engagement a couple months down the road, and it would be suddenly, I just kept seeing it tick up. And I was like, I posted that a month ago and it's being refreshed into the algorithm. Like you never know.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I used to have a boss that explained this marketing, especially with print marketing, like the shotgun approach is how he used to call it. So, a typical agent is going to have a farm area. They're either going to walk it and door knock or, mail to it, multiple touches, right, in different variety of ways. And he used to call it the shotgun approach because you're going to take this geographical area that you're this is your marketing, little hub, and that you're just going to keep plastering your name all over and hopefully they call you, right?
Yep.
So between that or newspaper ads, you don't really know if anybody's really seeing it. You don't know if they care. And so where's the ROI with that? Until you actually get a call or an open door if you're door knocking.
Yeah.
But there are tools at Realtors' disposal to sort of do that target marketing where they can at least do some homework, and it takes time. So, you're putting in that time investment. But if you can eliminate some of the time spent or the money spent on print that goes out that is going to touch somebody that never will ever call you, and reinvest that in time to know that this person that you're mailing to, had a foreclosure 3 years ago. Well, you can really customize maybe that message to them and talk about, did you know that you could own now? And, let me help you. And this is the market. And, maybe here's some resources for down payment or, whatever customized, sort of messaging you want, upping the chance somebody's actually going to call you rather than that just blanket, hey, just listed, just sold. There's nothing wrong with just listed, just sold postcards, but it is seriously just a shotgun approach of, you're just putting stuff out in the universe of, with your name on it. Kind of no different than just putting a post out there and not really caring who sees it. It's just out there, right? So, Luke, with target marketing on social media, can you still target like geographical areas, or is that kind of falling into the hard line for Facebook?
As far as I know, you can target via geographical. I haven't heard of anyone that's actually had issues doing that as a realtor.
Yeah.
Now they might have changed that recently, or they could have adjusted that. So your experience might vary, and like they'll mark you not being able to run an ad for dumb reasons and then not tell you like. So, but no, as far as I know, and I just keep the area wide. Like it wouldn't be like target this city. I'd be like 25-mile radius around this area, right?
Oh, okay.
So that way it's not
you wouldn't
like
go all the way into like your little farm area. You'd keep it pretty broad still.
I would keep it broad. And then, mark on there if you're trying to reach farmers like farmers or, things like, are you interested in Zillow, real estate, those sorts of things?
Yeah.
Because it's still people who are interested in real estate. You're not saying like, oh, this specific group of people with this specific group of beliefs or stuff like that. So you're not breaking fair housing guidelines. And then always check if you're going to run ads on social media, check with your broker because not every broker allows it. And then some of them want to approve what you're going to be putting out.
Sure.
And let's not forget, outside of just digital and traditional marketing, networking is marketing. It's free. Go volunteer. Like the amount of people that I see that either if they're a mortgage, real estate, that get clients and get their first clients off of just meeting people, that is so much more valuable than anything you will do print and digital wise. Because if you connect with them, and this goes back to the funnel, if you go to an event, you connect with them, in person, talking to them, you become friends on Facebook or they follow your page, then they start seeing you and stuff like that. And now they're seeing you at events too. They're more likely to think about you when something comes up within that need. So whether it's your church, your food shelf, whatever organizations you support or like to volunteer at, like parades, those sorts of things where you can just meet people and be a help, and always come at it from the approach of, and I'm probably talking a lot, but a gentleman who he runs Close Simple. His name is Bill Savoda. He is an alum of the school that I attended. I remember I met with him once and he said, people love to buy, they hate to sell. So if you go into it saying, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? They don't want to do it. They're just like, I don't want to talk to that person. But if you go into it being like, hey, what are you working on right now? Oh, that's awesome. Do you need help with that? Like, find out what they need help with and then do it, and do it really well. Because then they'll be like, oh, I can actually trust this person, right? Because real estate is really a relational business, right? So you can get leads off of social media, you can get them off of print marketing and stuff, but those are going to be colder leads, and they're not going to have that relationship built up. So then you're going to have to put in the extra work then to build that relationship. So don't forget about in-person networking, and network with other realtors.
Yeah.
Like, network with them, because I've heard a lot of stuff from people on the committee I liaison that are like, I want to know other agents, because when they're across the table and it's that agent has a house that their client wants, they can be like, I know this person. They can call the phone and be like, hey, this is my name. Let's talk how we can get a deal done, right?
Yep.
So there's personal relationships there.
Yep.
That person who has that relationship, I don't know, but I kind of feel like, they're going to be able to be like, well, you got to offer that, this is the situation. The seller wants this, yada, yada. Make your best offer, right? Well, however that process goes, I've never been in a real estate negotiation, so I don't know, but I can only assume that that's going to be a lot more beneficial, because you're willing to then call the agent and work with them to get the best possible deal, right? Versus
Sure,
just,
yeah.
oh, we didn't get it, check, go on to the next.
Right. So it's kind of interesting that you bring that up, because, I've been doing this now, not this particular role, but in real estate, working with agents for nearly 20 years. And I remember when it was more face-to-face, you did know the other agent across the table. You knew, pretty much all the agents in the area that you worked. And, you can, if you ever want to hear stories, you can talk with Tracy Douglas, our COO. She's got all kinds of stories from the 15 years she was a realtor, even before I got into real estate. Same kind of thing. You knew every realtor. You knew all the agents around. And so, while you couldn't, there's still the confidentiality and the things that you can or can't say when talking with the other party, but there was that sort of mutual respect. You knew them. You weren't going to badmouth them. You were, going to answer emails or phone calls in a timely manner. And with technology, we sort of, got more efficient at everything we do, but lost that touch, right? So, and then of course, as we all know, COVID kind of just made us all touchless. So, so now I think it's kind of interesting. We're all trying to sort of get back to 15, 20 years ago of, I want to see you, I want to talk to you, I want to know you.
Right.
It's very interesting to me that that's kind of where full circle we're coming back, but it makes perfect sense.
Definitely. Well, and I think too, like in regard to the networking thing, this might be a little different, my thought process, but in terms of like marketing, right? That goal is to get a client that wants to buy or sell a home, right? And like what you said about if they seem transactional, if the agent seems transactional, it's going to turn off a good chunk of the people, right?
That's exactly
Nobody
why I
wants to
don't
be
like car
sold to.
salesmen.
Exactly. It's like, leave me alone. I'm getting plastered with stuff 24/7.
Yep.
Times have changed, right? And there's a certain demographic that doesn't get as rattled by it, but at least myself, and I feel like the people that I hang out with, they're just so immune, right, to all types of advertising, right? Because it's just been shoved
everywhere.
down your throat
Yeah.
your entire life.
Yep.
So if somebody comes up and you can tell that they have that intention, you're like, get away from me.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
you
that's a good point.
You got to run. But
Different
I think,
generations.
I think as far as like networking goes, great way for agents to network. I think like do something that is face-to-face surrounding hobbies of yours that you are genuinely passionate about, right? So like join a bowling league, right? Go golfing, do a dance class, like whatever it might be, right? But like that way you can kind of break out of real estate, right? Because your target market is literally anybody who is old enough to buy or sell a house, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Where like the agent networking stuff, I think there's still value in that. And you can bounce ideas back and forth. You can get, more in tune with the local real estate market and develop those relationships with agents too. But I think, getting out in the world outside of real estate is going to be a lot more like per your time ROI, great for you, and you can do something that you like at the same time. It doesn't always have to be like you have to be making money, right?
Yeah,
But it's something that you can do, develop like genuine relationships, enjoy your time, and then, people know you're a realtor, right?
Yep.
I meet people
Just
all
wear
the
your
time,
pin.
and yeah, exactly, whatever it might be, and you just have conversations, and they'll know, and you don't have to do any selling, right?
Yeah.
It's just you're you, and you hang out with them a lot, and they know that you're pretty cool to be around.
Well,
And they
and
want-
to your point, okay, so, and we all know, especially we're all similar age generation. So, would you agree that when we're all looking for jobs, or when we were coming out of high school or college, and even now, if you're looking for jobs, at this point in time, you research the company on their philanthropy? What are they giving back, right? So that seems to be more and more important as we move forward in time to everybody. So if you're a realtor who's giving back and you are sort of expanding your sphere of influence to these groups, to these organizations, to these other times that you're not really selling, but you're developing more relationships with these other people, what's the first thing that somebody says to you when they meet you? Hi, my name is, what do you do? Right? So they're going to know you're a realtor.
Right.
This is what you do. But today I'm spending time, planting or raking leaves for seniors or whatever you're doing.
Right.
But yes, I'm a realtor full time. And then your conversation just blossoms from there.
Yeah.
So it's like an easy sell, right? Not a hard sell of, I got my salesperson hat on, because that's a big turnoff.
Well,
Yeah.
and don't just be like, oh, I'm a realtor. Like,
Right.
go a little deeper than that. Like, why? Why are you? Tell your why when you do that, because otherwise they immediately write you off as a salesperson.
Oh, yeah.
You just want to get my business, and if you do, just say that, they're gonna want to know what the real estate market is like. They're like,
Yes.
oh, how's the real estate market going? That's always what they ask, because they want to know.